It feels like I'm falling.
Love interrupted by tragedy, lost in the drought of nightfall, running in search of the remedy, trying to find her place in it all, focused only on the negative. All she can attract is pain. Perception is what will manifest. Thought she could escape, but it's all the same. Birds fly south for the winter, but she ran to the west side. And though much was stolen, much still abides. And I know she'd rather keep her distance, but as time moves on, she's drifting away from me. But did the ocean breeze specify you?
Hey, good morning, family. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are expected to be men. And of course, lames get their planes shot down like John McCain, the wise words of Jay Electronica. Good morning to you. On today's show, among other things, and I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We got a special guest calling in or zooming in today at about 8 a.m. So a lot of stuff to talk about, but 3 humans that are worse than COVID. 3 humans that are worse than COVID. And I've got examples locally and nationally that I want to share with you. So that'll be a common thread throughout the conversation. But as I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Just yesterday, it was reported that a member of the Cincinnati School Board has announced that they are not going to seek re-election this year. Really? And we have that school board member scheduled to give us a Zoom call today at 8 a.m. So we'll get a chance to pick this individual's brain and figure out, why they made this decision, and also talk about some school board issues. That's coming up at 8 a.m. this morning. But again, to kick things off, 3 humans that are worse than COVID. How many people paid attention to City Council yesterday? They had a huge meeting, because that's what Cincinnati is, a series of big and huge meetings just yesterday. And council voted on whether to suspend a member of council, Wendell Young, because he's currently under indictment. Hasn't been found guilty, but currently under indictment. And they voted using new powers that were granted to City Council in the last election just 3 weeks ago. What happened? I've got the details. You don't want to miss it. We are about to go off and keep it 100 with you the way nobody else in Cincinnati does, perhaps the nation. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Let me throw my number up on the screen, family, and we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. But I want to give you enough time to do your boy a solid and and in particular, share today's show. When you share the show, family, more people see it. And we love when more people see the show, all right? Plus, there's an upcoming virtual event I want to tell you all about as well. So keep locked, keep it tight. If you come across the stream, maybe on YouTube, find us on Facebook. If you come across the stream on Facebook, find me on YouTube, Nathan Ivey EY, and hit me with a sub. I appreciate you in advance. Don't go anywhere, and we'll get started.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the shit by my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, got them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'm a spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed to be men. And as I said earlier, suck MCs get dealt with. On today's show, I want to talk about numerous things, including 3 humans that are worse than COVID. That's right. That's what I learned during COVID. What I learned during COVID is that humans are worse than COVID. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Here I am. Here we are. Let's fucking do it. You ready for this? Buckle up. It's an acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? If you're coming across this show just by happenstance, why is that in my mental Rolodex, that word? You may or may not like this. I'll just give it to you straight. This ain't for everybody. Now everybody's going to like what I do, how I say it, what we've created here. If you get into it, great. You are always welcome. I don't care who you are and where you are. I don't care how much money you make, what you look like. What I will say is, like, if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, like, if everything has always been handed to you on a silver plate, you might not identify with my flows. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from a different place, right? If you never had any struggles in your life, never had to deal with adversity, never had any challenges, you may not understand where I'm coming from. You may not get this, but that's okay. You can chill anyway. You're more than welcome to be here. I'm just letting you know up front what you're dealing with. All right. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Thank you for all the well wishes. I'm still a little rough here. I haven't shaped your boy up yet, but we'll get to all of that. The flow is still superlative, but I am feeling much better. Thank you for all the well wishes. I appreciate it. Are you ready to do this? Yeah, I am ready to do this. Let's get into it. A lot of stuff to talk about. 513-873-7134. I'm actually going to play some of the comments from yesterday, man. It was hilarious. And there were some familiar faces. One of our choppers delivered public testimony yesterday during the council citizens forum. And it was absolutely hilarious. I chuckled and laughed through all of it, man. Good stuff, man. A lot of fun. Today I want to talk about, let me put that image back on the screen here and let you know who these folks are. The woman at the top, her name is Amy Cooper. She was the woman that basically tried to call the police on a black man in New York who was bird watching. She took her dog into a part of the park. I think the entire park, you're supposed to have a leash on it. He checked her like, "Hey, ma'am, can you put a leash on your dog?" I hate dog people who think that their animal is friendly with everybody. That shit burns me up. When I see people with dogs, especially when I'm with my family, they're like, "Oh, he's friendly." That shit makes me so angry. He's friendly to you, motherfucker. You feed him. That dog don't know us. I can't stand irresponsible dog people. That shit burns me up like few other things. And she was being an irresponsible dog owner, right? She didn't want to have a leash on her dog because she didn't want to have a leash on her dog. The black dude checked her. Oh, by the way, he was soft as hot grits. Didn't press charges on her. So now she's actually suing her employer. She was fired. Amy Cooper was fired after she called the police and lied to police and told the police that this black man was trying to harass her. Basically, she was trying to use good old-fashioned racism. And the police, to deal with her issue with this black man and try to take it to a place that it never should have been. She lost her job because she was whack. and she wasn't representing people right. And now she's suing her employer. But we'll give you more details in a second here. Just more details. We'll give you more details in a second. Keep listening. You might be asking, who's that woman on the right? Well, the woman on the right, her name is Virginia Brown. And she was recently arrested. What was she arrested for? Like I told you, another example of humans worse than COVID. This is clear cut. Y'all might debate on the other two, but this is clear cut. So Virginia Brown allegedly yelled, "No vaccine," while almost hitting 7 people with her SUV. She was caught speeding her car through a vaccination site down in Tennessee. Now she's been charged with 7 counts of felony reckless endangerment after almost running people over who were trying to get their COVID-19 vaccine. As I said, Exhibit A, humans worse than COVID. You don't ever hear about COVID doing that. You don't never hear about COVID ripping its SUV through a vaccination site. COVID is a simple organism that just simply wants to replicate. That's it. It's these fucking humans that are the real problem on this planet. They are the real problem. I'll give you more details in a second. And then here on the left, bottom left, that's more local here. That's a city council person who has not been elected. Nobody elected her to be on city council. She was appointed because she's a white female. She took the place of Amy Murray. Amy Murray wanted to be replaced. She was leaving, white Republican female. She was leaving to go work for the wackest administration ever, the Trump administration. It was fucking whack. He didn't get reelected because he was a buster and a bum, and he dropped the football. He pulled a Charlie Brown when it came to COVID, and so he couldn't muster up the votes against Joe Biden and lost the election. So now Bessie Sunderman, I've been reading, is back in Cincinnati. But anyway, I'm sorry. Now Amy Murray is back in Cincinnati. Bessie Sunderman was chosen to be her replacement. She's never been elected by not a fucking person in the world. And she is worse than COVID, in my opinion, for trying to lead this charge against Wendell Young as if people really care about it. It's not a kitchen table issue. Pardon me. It's not a kitchen table issue. And anybody who knows anything about this will tell you that these charges against Wendell Young are some bullshit, period, point blank. It's some straight up BS, straight up political posturing at its absolutely worst. It's an example of everything. The case against Wendell Young is more embarrassing than the Gang of Five case. Absolutely ridiculous. But I'll give you the details. We'll get more into it. Plus, I've got some of the comments via our friends at City Cable. And we'll play. We can hear exactly. We can hear exactly what happened. We can watch exactly what happened. You care about local politics, you got to be watching City Cable and Council. As I said, one of the choppers actually took his ass down to City Council and testified, or not testified, or gave his, I guess, his testimony, or spoke, I put it that way, spoke during the Citizens Forum. And this was his whack attempt. I'm talking about Black Russia. Can you believe this, man? Black Russia, with his ongoing vendetta against Wendell Young. He's mad at Wendell Young, and it was so obvious. I'm like, this man, why are you trying to use quotes that Wendell Young used against your boy? Is it Rayshawn Mack or the other Mack? Either way, whoever it was didn't deserve to be on the sorter board, because you can't act like a child on Twitter. You can't act like a grown-up baby on Twitter. You can't act like an elementary aged person, you're acting like my son, worse than my son. My son don't act like that. But then you want to be in a leadership position. City Council did the right thing. And Black Russia is still in his feelings about it because it was funny as hell. It was one of the funniest things, and nothing's going to take that away. It was one of the funniest things that I've seen in a long time. Wendell Young is a G for that. Let me show this for you. You got to look at this man. Look at this. This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing the chop shop, man. Look at this. You see this, man? Look at this motherfucker down here. Embarrassing the whole city. You got to hear what he said, man. You got to hear. This is hilarious. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, check this out.
Credibility of this body and our municipal institution.
About what wonderful.
From one sucker, look at this.
I hope this council,
you following this fool, Tracy?
Remedies something
God,
that is
damn
decades and decades overdue and brings them honor.
Hold on one second. So they'll catch up here in a second. Here he is. I want to get the whole thing. Brought his bag in and everything. Check this out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and unindicted members of City Council for the opportunity to address this body. The eyes of history are upon Cincinnati City Hall today. Murray Season Good is watching this moment. The credibility of this
Murray
body
Season
and our
Good
municipal institution is on the line today. I would ask that the clerk of council make her motion and a roll call vote be taken to suspend Councilmember Young before any council business is voted on. His vote will call into question any business conducted by this body. Councilmember Wendell Young has no shame. The other members of council who were indicted had enough sense to not even show their faces after they were indicted. Why is Councilmember Young still serving? The public has documented evidence that Councilmember Young has been violating his oath to the charter of this city ever since he was sworn back in 2018. He admitted to conspiring with other council members to subvert our government before Judge Rubin. Then he tried to cover it up. Like they always say, the cover-up is always worse than the crime itself. He said, quote, "Hallelujah, we're the new gang of five." He was proud of the fact his gang was violating the law. He has yet to apologize for his illegal behavior. And to top it off, he was indicted for tampering with evidence, a felony. Yet, he still sits here as a leader of this city. He insulted the Plush family. He insulted nominees who are willing to serve this city for free. Yet he sits here as a leader with a felony indictment over his head. The voters said yes to issue 2. So now it's on this body to do the will of the people and suspend Councilmember Young until this felony case is disposed of. And I'm going to give you a famous quote from Councilmember Young. "Let's bounce the sucker." Thank you.
Thank you. And just to be clear to Mr. Seifert and to Ms. Sansoni, we will take up that item.
That shit is hilarious, man. Let's bounce this sucker. Now, is that what wait, where's that quote from? Is that Wendell Young? Did Wendell Young say that in the text messages, or did he say that to the Mac twin? I can't remember. That's good stuff, man. Hilarious. You remember that scene in The Last Dance when they gave Michael Jordan the laptop or the Surface Pro or whatever it was so he could see the comments of Gary Payton? And Gary Payton was like, "Yeah, I was a problem for Michael Jordan." Michael Jordan's like, "Get the fuck out of here, man. Go sit your ass down, please. That nonsense." Look at Craxton. Tell us some alt middle was in the building yesterday for all the wrong reasons, bro. For all the wrong reasons. Talking about let's bounce this sucker. Oh, man. He insulted the Plush family. He didn't insult the Plush family. What he said was, he said, let's be real here. The Plush family is going to do a civil lawsuit. Didn't they just get millions of dollars? All right, then. I said it when he said it back then, 3 years ago, and I'm saying it now. Wendell Young did not disrespect the Plush family. He just kept it real. He just wasn't Cincinnati polite. Didn't they just get a payout of millions of dollars? Isn't that what he said? That's not disrespect. It's not disrespect when it's real. It was just impolite. And we need more people that's going to keep it real and stop with this Cincinnati politeness. It's what's retarding the growth of this city. Everybody trying to be friends and kiss tail. Well, I don't want to do that. If I got to kiss your tail to be your friend, we would never really be friends. We would never really be friends. Grad theater, Terrence writes, "Man, that was all political theater." I know. Irish writes, $6 million to be exact. They got $6 million. And they got into that, people got into their feelings, maybe in the Plush family. And again, I have nothing but condolences for them. They lost their son. It never should have went down like that. And the 911 call center still hasn't gotten the necessary upgrades. It's still not up to par. But we got that stadium. That stadium was up to par, though, didn't we? We got that fucking stadium together. But the 911 system still isn't up to par. But we got that stadium together, right? I'm telling you, the land of misplaced priorities, aka Cincinnati. Anyway, yeah, Wendell Young didn't disrespect the Plush family. He kept it real. He said they're gonna go for a lawsuit, so let's not say too much. And that's what they did. They got to pay out. They should have got a payout. I have no problem with it. They should have got more than that, quite honestly. They should have break the bank into the city and the city leadership, do something about it, and not just, move around the chairs on the deck, so to speak, just because people are watching. And then when people aren't watching anymore, you go back to business as usual. Too much of that. But if you don't know, Wendell Young or City Council, they needed 7 votes. They got 6 votes. They got 6 votes to suspend Wendell Young. And of course, it was all political theater, as somebody said. I'm well aware of that. So Wendell Young continues. And I thought that there were some really kind words. And I understand the overall point that at least one council member was trying to make. And I learned some things about Wendell Young that I didn't know. Maybe I heard about it before. And that's when Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney talked about why she was voting to suspend him. And she gave him, I thought, a lot of respect. She talked about, she put his resume on blast. And I learned some things about Wendell Young. He has been a great public servant. And these text messaging thing, again, it has nothing to do with the job whatsoever. We talking about some text messages. A judge already looked at it and said nothing here. The Hamilton County prosecutor looked at it and said there's nothing here. But again, when you pay a special prosecutor $250 an hour, they got to come up with something. If somebody say, you know what, I want you to be the special prosecutor. We want you to prosecute this particular individual to see if anything happened. We're going to pay you $250, right? An hour. You're going to make a case. I think we're going to need about 100 hours. Yeah, just somewhere around 100 hours. Yeah, I bet you would at $250 a pop. Only white people get those kind of jobs in Cincinnati. I keep saying to somebody else picks up on it, has got a larger platform, picks up on it and does some fucking research. But as I said, Bessie Sunderman is worse than COVID. She is the council member that we don't want on city council. We don't need her, which means she'll probably get reelected several times because that's what we do in Cincinnati. It's what we do. Hold on one second here. I want to make sure that I send my that my guest. Here we go. That my guest, there it is. He just reached out to me. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. So coming up at 8 a.m., I'm scheduled to speak with Ryan Messer. It was announced via the media yesterday that Ryan Messer, member of the school board, is not going to seek re-election. Is this true? Is the media reports true? If so, why? And what does that mean for the school board? It means it could potentially be an open seat for somebody. That might be an incentive for some folks to get out there and run. It means that there'll be at least one new face on the school board. And I think that's newsworthy. So I'm scheduled to have a conversation with him coming up here in a minute or so. I just sent him the link to make sure that he can get in. So until he calls in or zooms in, let's get back to it. Irish writes, Betsy wasn't elected. She was appointed. She was appointed because she was a white female. Now, I added the white part to it. She was certainly elected because she was a female. It was reported by the Inquirer that Amy Murray wanted a female. She wanted a female to replace her. I added the white part because I just don't see a whole lot of black folks that the Republican Party in Hamilton County are pushing out there and supporting for city council. So I admit I'm adding that part to it, but they certainly want to face gender bias, but it is what it is. That's her prerogative. And what we need on city council are people that really want to get stuff done and not just whip up a whole bunch of dumb shit. We've had too many folks on council like that. You know what I'm saying? You just want to whip up a bunch of dumb shit. What we deserve as citizens of Cincinnati are council people to go to work every single day, worried about the kitchen table issues, worried about the stuff that really matters. That's what we deserve. We don't deserve people that's going to get on city council and then just start playing a whole bunch of political games. We've had enough divisiveness. We've had enough of that. What we need is unity. What we need are people that are willing to work together. Democrat, Republican, charter right, independent, it really makes no difference. Black, white, rich, poor, young, old, that's what we really need. And I'm not really sure we have that with Bessie Sunderman. We'll talk more about it. I want to play for you what she said yesterday, and you tell me if I'm wrong. Let me see. I see we got Ryan backstage, but I don't see his cam. So Ryan, if you can hear me, just try to put your cam up. Crystal writes, Lord, please somebody reel Thunder in. He's calling black women pickaninnies. So pissed I can't post on Facebook. Yeah, Black Russia he was on one. Oh, yeah, there he is. We got Ryan. What's up, Ryan? Can you hear me? Just a thumbs up? Yeah. Okay, so let's go straight to this. We got Ryan Messer on the line. Let's go straight to him. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Happy Thursday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. We both on the line there. Hey, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate the invite last night.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I read in the news, and again, I mean, I don't just go with news reports. I like to talk with the people themselves that you are not running for re-election for the CPS board. Is that true?
That is true.
Huh. And I got to ask the question, why?
Well, I think you probably know this. I have 4 kids, and I work at Johnson & Johnson, and the mixture of a new opportunity that's kind of coming towards me at work, and then having the 4 kids, I have loved every minute of the past 4 years, no question about that. And I'm a diehard Cincinnati Public Schools fan. I think it's school board. It is at least up there with city council as far as its importance. What we do for these children in Cincinnati should be everybody's top priority. And I've loved being at the table with some incredible people. And, but at some time, one of my friends told me one time, charity and volunteering needs to start at home. And, with my kids, kind of an age where I've got a first grader, a kindergartner, and soon to have a preschooler. These are the times when they need me there. And I got to coach their soccer team this year. And, with my work travel and everything, I think going forward, I've had to miss that opportunity. School board, a lot of time. And I think during these pivotal years, I want to be right there front and center for them. And then I think maybe I'll come back to public service at some point.
Okay. So children, family, and new opportunity. Okay. I can dig it. I mean, those are big motivators, most definitely. So does that means what exactly? It means that you're going to continue with your term and just not seek re-election this November? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to pick our new superintendent in that time.
Right. I'm sure you will. You got to talk about that. Will you be making any endorsements?
I'm sure. I actually don't even really know 100% who is running. But a friend of mine, Mary Weinberg, I don't know if you talked to her on the show yet. Yeah. But she and I have been friends long before I was on the board. And I remember when meeting her and she said, oh, by the way, I'm a teacher. And I was like, what? We have an Olympian who's a teacher and has kids? I mean, it's like a trifecta. Because, one thing I think that I brought to the board is that I had small kids in the district. So as we were thinking through things, I thought about all the little kids that I see at drop off and pick up and the stories I hear from the kids and the teachers. So, we were living the work that was the product of what the school board was working on. And of course, our superintendent.
Mm-hmm. So were you blindsided by the news that Laura Mitchell was stepping away?
It's one of those things that, is going to happen, but you're just never, ever quite prepared. Publicly, I think people got a good glimpse of what I think about Laura. I think she's one of the most incredible leaders I've ever encountered. And I've been at a great company for 23 years. And I think she could run Johnson & Johnson just like she could run Cincinnati Public Schools. And I always said my dream for her was that she would just end up working her way up to be the Secretary of Education, because she gets it. She knows how to make things happen, and people followed her, and I think that's a really special gift.
Do you what has been, so you guys got advance notice, right? You guys knew about this a couple of weeks before she announced it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I think it was a shock. I mean, some people said, "Well, I wish she'd have given us 6 months notice." Well, who really gets 6 months notice in any job?
Right.
I think if you think about where she's headed, she's going to do great things for more kids, and so I'm happy for her. I think it's incumbent on us to try to scour this world to find somebody who can fill those shoes.
Well, you got an interim superintendent. Who's running? Is that what it is? Who's actually running or has submitted their name to be considered to be the next superintendent at this point?
We haven't. That's absolutely not been initiated yet. Okay. I believe that'll be the subject of our next couple of meetings now that we have the interim superintendent in place. There'll be a search firm identified, and our very capable and incredible leader, Ms. Carolyn Jones, our president, who's also become a very personal friend. I think she will be guiding us through that process here in the next few weeks to get that search firm up and running.
Do you anticipate that it'll take the summer? I'm sure you want to have somebody in place before school opens.
I think that would be ideal, but I also know I feel really comfortable with our deputy superintendent who's been named as interim. I don't think a thing will drop. In fact, she worked so closely with Laura. I think she's just going to keep pushing us up. This is not, I think sometimes when you put an interim in, you just kind of stay steady, Eddie. Don't rock the boat, the whole thing. I think Tiana is going to shift it in gear and keep moving, just like Laura would have if she'd have been in that spot. So I don't think there's going to be a need to hurry. I think we want to be expeditious and get somebody in place as soon as possible, but I feel really good that at least we don't have to hurry because we're worried about the current state. So I think it can be a really thorough, process that the community has to be at the table, in my opinion, just like all of our decisions. This one in particular, because it will really chart the course for the next, the next iteration of Cincinnati Public Schools.
Right. So how many terms were you on the school board? Is it 1 or 2?
1. I ran the last term, and now I can say I only worked under the best superintendent because, with Laura leaving, and she started like 3 months, I think it was, before I joined the school board. Okay. So this is my 4th year.
So since you're on your way out, owe nobody anything, just give us the dirt, Ryan. So was the experience what you thought it was? From the outside looking in is different from being from the inside looking out.
Yeah.
What's different? What surprised you? Are there places in which did you think that there's room for growth for the school board? And if so, what is it?
Well, I think there's what I thought about the school district from the outside looking in and then getting inside, but then there's like the role of public service from the outside and then when you're actually in there. So I think they're 2 different things. I was just a regular community member with kids, personal vested interest in the school district. Somebody who went to public schools and, believe that is where the society needs to place our emphasis, is making sure our schools are top notch, et cetera. I think I was just wowed at what a big operation Cincinnati Public Schools is. As one of the top employers in the region, doing one of the most important jobs, and I don't care if you're serving lunch, teaching the kids, the security officers, the custodians, all those people that I met. Like the first year I was on the board, I went into 41 buildings, and every single person played a crucial role. Their heart was in it for the right reasons, and it just made me feel good. I think maybe I had hoped that's what it was like, but I really enjoyed that part, is seeing that there are some incredible people at CPS who wake up every day just to make sure that all of our babies are ready for that next phase of their life eventually.
Do you think that you were effective as a school board member? Can a school board member, I mean, you're one of what, 5, 7, or one of 7?
Yeah.
Can you really be effective? You think that you've made a difference in the last 4 years?
I do. I think everybody is effective. There are some things that, when you're in a for-profit company like a Johnson & Johnson, they have lots of money to spend on leadership type development, different types of employee programs, et cetera. And I was able to kind of bring some of that stuff through my connection with the board, but also through my connection with the superintendent. I'd have a monthly meeting or every month, and we would just sit down and chat. And one thing that I think about is J&J is really good about making sure their people are engaged. That when you show up there, you feel like that's the best place ever. And there's this work called Q12, and I shared that with superintendent, and I thought this could be a very interesting thing. It had never really been done in like a public sector workplace, and she launched it. And I think it's going to be a really cool thing to watch the evolution. That one of the most important things about employee engagement is their opinions count. They feel valued. They're at the table when decisions are made. And I do think there was a little bit of the hierarchical, like, if I'm the principal, this is what you're going to do. Here's the orders, go do it. I don't need any feedback. And in today's world, I think people want to be a part of what the decisions are, how we're going to operate, the things that we'll prioritize. So I think there have been a lot more kind of employee engagement activities, which will result in people loving their jobs more and being even more effective with our children. So a variety of those things. Another one would be putting together a strategic plan, because this is a multi-million-dollar operation, hundreds of millions of dollars operation. And so you have to be very strategic about where you place those dollars and where you don't to get the desired outcomes, and try to do that without having to go back to voters and say, hey, we did a little bit more because we didn't manage that. So I was the lead of our strategic planning committee. That was really the first strategic plan in quite a few years. So those are a couple of things that I feel like I made an imprint. But at the same time, the work that we do as a board, it was collective, and you share one voice, somebody else shares another voice, another one shares another voice. You try to come up with what the best decision is for our community.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people look at the state grades that are given to the district and individual school buildings, and they say, look, CPS is a failing school district. Do you think it's fair to judge you or any of the school board members on those overall grades that are given to CPS by the state?
I do not. And, I think this is probably, I'm going to stay involved in education in Cincinnati. Trust me when I say that. I mean, I'll still be my soccer coach and the whole bit. I'll be actively involved in my kids' schools, but specifically in this particular area and helping people understand. I have friends who have, through my company, kids in a very wealthy district up north, and they were saying, oh, well, we got an A. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I thought, well, God, why is ours so low? Then I went to my first Ohio State School Board Association conference, and there was a lady, and I heard her say something about, well, this is our third A in a row and all this stuff. So I said, well, can I just sit with you guys? I want to ask you some questions. And so I thought, well, I'm going to learn some of this stuff and see if maybe, something I could take away. And what I learned was they had an A because they were the wealthiest school district in the state. Was a part of Ohio where there's zero rentals, zero poverty. Everybody kind of looked like those people that I saw at that table, which is not the city I would want to live in. And I realized that, then and there, when everybody said it was such an unfair assessment. So if you actually take the scores and you marry with them the average median income, it's almost a direct parallel. And so when you have a city like ours where people have been left behind for hundreds of years, we got to make up for that. And you need more money to level the playing field, because their parents are struggling because they were left behind, and their grandparents are struggling because they were left behind. And, at some point, we have to look at how that budgeting is done and do it based on the specific needs and not just a flat allocation to kids, in looking how you do funding and then the scoring. But what I will tell you, the most exciting thing that when anybody would bring that fact up is Laura Mitchell put us on the charts as being the top school district in the state for growth. So we may not be where we want to be in our current day rating, but we were improving our academic performance greater than any other district in the state of Ohio. And that, and I would try to tell that everywhere I went, because it is such an important fact that our improvement score, even though we might have been out, in the bottom part in overall assessment today, we were taking our kids further faster.
That's not my recollection of what I've seen, but that's interesting. So you're saying that, within the district and CPS, we've got the vast majority are failing by the state standard. And you're saying that's less about what the district is doing and more about the economics of those particular households?
Well, it's just that, this is the whole point of equity. Everybody shouldn't get the same thing. Everybody should get what they need. And so if we're competing against a district where every parent can afford tutors, every parent can afford all the devices and things that they need for their kids to achieve, they're putting our kids at a disadvantage. And so, the funding is one issue, and then the scorecard is another issue, but I believe they absolutely are intertwined. Our state funding formula has been ruled unconstitutional multiple times. And I believe that when that's fixed, we'll correct the funding formula, which will allow us to bring some of these incredible opportunities for the kids of Cincinnati Public Schools above and beyond what we're doing today. But I would love to send you that kind of the report. Maybe not from this past year because everything was in pandemic and kind of paused on that, but just before that, to show you the trajectory CPS was on from a growth standpoint that put us right there in front of the whole state as far as improvement of our scores. And to me, that's the real measurement. It's not where you are today. It's, are you making an improvement to that? And I do believe that is one of the best successes that Laura can look back on and say, we're on the right path with our kids.
Okay. It's interesting. I got a different take on that, but you're the school board member, so I want to hear your thoughts about it. When I talk with school board members over the years, they all have sort of like a rosy perspective on it. Like I've talked to some school board members, some of your colleagues, and I asked them how do they feel about the state testing, and they all have said that they feel like it's unfair and that it needs to be rethought and recalculated. And I'm like, okay, I hear you on that. But what that means is if we're going to look at it with that lens at the schools that are underperforming, then we also got to do that with the schools that are overperforming, like Walnut Hills. So we can't say, oh, look at Walnut Hills, they're doing great by the state calculations. But then at the other schools, we want to talk about funding and other things, and there's other issues and things like that. It's got to be consistent. Either across the board, we shouldn't really be paying attention to it, or across the board, it matters. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I look at it. You mentioned COVID, and we talked during COVID. Those were some really interesting times.
Yes, right.
Looking back, because now we're on our way out. Today's the last day of school. Looking back, would you do anything different? What did you learn from that scenario?
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, and whether it was a school board or my work, it was kind of trying to figure out. It's like driving in that snowstorm. You could only see so far ahead of you, and then you had no idea what was going to come from that. And I think there were a lot of optimistic people saying, oh, well, we're going to have the vaccines by the first announcement like last October. Then, well, we're going to definitely have it by November. And then, by the time we actually got them out, it's well after the first of the year. So where we thought we had one goalpost, it just kept moving. I think there was one of the things that I would definitely do different is at the kind of towards the end, we brought in a woman that I knew actually from Johnson & Johnson, who was an expert in market research, to really help us think through how do you actually hear in a three-dimensional way, like companies would do, what their customers think. And whether it's the city council, whether it's a school board, I feel like, not when I'm on the board, but, I feel like they need to treat us as citizens, as customers, and they need to know what we think. And it needs to be presented in a way I can see that you're actually looking at what the community's thinking, and let that be a part of the decision-making process. So, that's one thing for sure. I would love to implement, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, it'd be great to do it sooner than we did. But to really look at our data in a very strategic way to make decisions based on what our people are asking for, not what we think they want, not what we heard in the last conversation we were on, but a true representation of our city, and make sure it represents the demographics, because you can put all that in there. Companies do a very good job of saying, here's what the customers want. And, I think public entities could do a better job at that.
Well, Ryan, listen, I appreciate your time this morning, catching up with you. I wish you the best in all your new endeavors, and I hope you go out like a hellraiser, man. Challenge the system, man. I mean, you're on your way out, so challenge everything. Push the envelope for the people, for the children, for the students as much as possible.
And you can continue at that through the rest of this year, but also when I'm not on the board, I'll be there at the table.
All right. Well, Ryan, listen, again, wish you the best, man. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks. Appreciate the invitation.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
For sure. That's Ryan Messer, everybody. We got the what's what. He is leaving. What should I say? He's not going to seek re-election. So we know there'll be at least one new face. Now, will it be a new old face, or will it be a new face? Some of that new or old new, or new old new, new old. No, I think old new or old new. We'll find out. He says, listen, he got an opportunity at Johnson & Johnson and his children. Listen, I can dig it. I can dig it. You did your 4 years. You out of here. Sick of these folks. But I meant what I said. I hope, you're on your way out. So push the button. Push the envelope. Challenge your colleagues to think outside the box, where you think is necessary. Because you leaving. What are they going to do to you? Nothing. What do you think? 513-873-7134. Now, what I've missed in the chop shop is that people are going back and forth a bit. I couldn't really pay attention to it, so I'll catch up with some of the rhetoric, some of the comments. I'm not here for anything that's going to lead to some kind of physical altercation. This is rhetorical arts, nothing more than that. But hey, sometimes we're going to disagree. And as I kicked off the show, let me put it on the screen here so you know what we're talking about here. We're talking about many things, but to kick it off, 3 humans that are worse than COVID. That is my theory. What have you learned during COVID? I have learned so much, man. I learned so much. I learned stuff I can't even tell you on the air. But in terms of in general, the world around us, what I've learned is that humans are way worse. I mean, way worse. Way worse than COVID. COVID don't have nothing on human beings. Human beings are far more destructive than COVID could ever be. We need a vaccination from human beings. And this morning, I present to you 3 humans that are worse than COVID. At the very top, you got Amy Cooper. How many people remember Amy Cooper? She's the white woman that inspired actually a series of new laws across the country. But she's the white woman that called the police on a black man, a weak-ass black man. She should have called the police and said, hey, police, we got a weak-ass black man over here, because he was weaker than soft toilet tissue. Talking about, I don't want to press charges because I love everybody. You fool. The hell is wrong with you? Anyway, back in May of 2020, Amy Cooper was walking her dog without a leash, which gives me an example to start my rants against irresponsible dog owners walking around here. Where your plastic bag at, dog owner? I don't see a plastic bag in your hand. Pick that up. And she didn't have a leash on her dog. This brother's name is Christian Cooper. No relation. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was a relation, like her great-great-great-great-grandfather owned Christian Cooper's family? That would be interesting. But anyway, he was a bird watcher. And don't say nothing about bird watching, because that's a completely legitimate pastime. People have been bird watching since the beginning of time. It predates Warzone, Call of Duty. Don't think you better because you play, that's your hobby, Call of Duty. Well, his hobby is bird watching. You better represent. His brother was peacefully bird watching at the park in New York, came across Amy Cooper. She didn't have a leash on her dog. He said to her, like, hey, can you put a leash on her dog? She got all in her feelings. She got all in her feelings. And then called the police and tried to make it seem like, told the police or the 911 operator that the black man was threatening her, clearly trying to use race as a weapon, straight from Birth of a Nation. And as I told her, she should have called the police and said, police, there's a weak ass black man here, right? Because he turned out to be super weak. This fool told me, I don't want to press charges because I love everybody. And what is that really going to do? It's going to teach her a lesson. You flipped the script and you did something illegal. You think she's not going to press charges on you? I'd still be in court testifying right now. Memo to Karens and Darrens everywhere. Don't pull that shit on me, because I am going to get a sleeping bag and sleep outside the courthouse. Believe me. I'm going to do whatever I got to do for them to lock your ass up. Don't play games with your boy. I ain't Christian Cooper. Oh, I love everybody. Oh, the birds. Look at the birds. The fuck out of here, man. She tried to get you burnt up by the folks. And now you going to talk about some, I love everybody. Oh, peace and love. Oh, is that a sparrow? Oh, that's a hummingbird. Get the fuck out of here, man. What's wrong with this world? But she's worse than COVID. Why am I talking about her? Because now it's being reported that she is suing her ex-employer for racial discrimination. You can't make this up. Let me get this straight. She tried to use race as a weapon against a black dude who asked her to put a leash on her dog, which, by the way, is illegal, as I understand it. Instead of her just being a good human being and saying, you know what, sir, I am going to put a leash on my dog. She wants to call the boys and make it seem like he's trying to assault her. Can you say Birth of a Nation? And this fool wouldn't even press charges on her. That man is damn near worse than her. They both worse than COVID. Let me tell you something, black folks. If you're in a situation like that, you have a duty to the black family to press charges to the nth degree. Don't let them get away with that. I don't want no problems. You got a responsibility that's bigger than you. You owe all of us to put that work on their ass, period. No tears, no fears. But now she is suing her ex-employer, trying to get some compensation because they let her go. And they put a tweet out on Twitter, obviously, because that's where you tweet, on Twitter, saying essentially that, she had to go because, they don't want basically people that are racist to be working for them. That's essentially what she said, what the employer said. So now she's suing her employer because guess why? Because Christian Cooper, aka Bird Watcher, he didn't press charges. She took like 5 classes of bias training or something like that. And then the New York prosecutors dropped the case. So now she's like, oh, I got a case now. See what happens when you don't do what you're supposed to do? You let the Karens and Darrens off the hook. Say it with me. We don't let Karens and Darrens off the hook no more. We roast their ass. That's what you do. That's what you do. You roast their ass. The way they used to roast us, the way they roasted us at Tulsa. That's the way you roast their ass legally. Don't get in your feelings because black folks is good people. We are so kind-hearted and good-natured. We just salt of the earth people. Black folks don't really want to be involved with this. Tell me I'm wrong. We want to do our job and live our lives and do what we got to do. But you got a bigger responsibility. Let me go to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Good morning, Black Russia. You wild, man. You wild for that yesterday.
Hey, man, I exercise my right as an American citizen to address my elected leaders. And I'll just say it like this. Race ipsa loquitur. You know what that means? It means the thing speaks for itself. So I don't even want you to talk about my speech for 2 minutes. People can go back and look at it. I want to tell our listeners about an undercover spy, Kamara Douglas. I want to tell you why I'm saying it. I'm picking on her this morning. I'm going to focus on her because she presented to my brother, my younger brother, Terrence. You know, people think he's running for city council, and, you know, we'll see if he makes the move. But she came to my brother telling him that she no longer works for Chris Silva for the purpose of trying to obtain information from him. Period. And he took his word for it because, you know, Terrence is a nice guy. He takes people's word for it. Of course, I'm Black Russia. I'm going to find out about you. And lo and behold, I go to Steelbox website because I'm making calls yesterday and emailing, like I showed you an email yesterday. I'm doing my due diligence. And lo and behold, I see Kamara Douglas foreign as community director for Chris Steelbox. Okay? Now, look, I don't care what your politics are. What you ain't going to do is lie to my people because they nice people. Terrence is a nice guy. Everybody knows Terrence, and everybody hates me. And there's a reason why people hate me, okay? Because I'm going to find out about you, Kamara Douglas. You're a fucking agent, okay? And you better leave my brother the hell alone. Stop trying to be Steelbox, you know, wingman, okay? Trying to get information from over here. You're not getting it, bro, okay? Now, I'm going to let you know, you all know this right now.
What kind of information?
Don't mess my people. Peace.
What kind of information? Oh, okay. I know Kamara. I know she good people. So I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. She did work for Sealbach. I don't believe she's working for him anymore, but I'm sure there's still some associations there. I mean, we all work for somebody. And you's a hypocrite because you wasn't even working for the mayor and you was running around with a Schmedium t-shirt on talking shit at the NAACP forum. And you got the nerve to talk about who she working for? A Negro, please stop it. Please stop. I don't know what you're talking about with her and Terrence. I have no idea about that. You should have given us more information, but I know Kamara. She good people. She cool with me. Super cool. So I don't know. I mean, she got a right to have her opinion about whatever she want to have her opinion about, just like you do. But come on, man. Here you are running around with a Schmedium John Cranley t-shirt on when he was running against Yvette Simpson, the black woman, and you wanted to use the black car with somebody else. Negro, please stop it. Not from you. Let me see. Brenda writes, good morning from Fairfield. This guy. Jerome writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you. That boy he is wild. He is wild. And you down here stumping. I gotta call you out, Black Rush. You know I got nothing but love for you, but I gotta call you out. You can't have it both ways. You can't play the black card when it's convenient to you. But you constantly roasting black folks. You was the same dude that was roasting Yvette Simpson like, oh, she would be bad for Cincinnati because she wanted Children's Hospital to pay more money to Avondale for their expansion project. Huh? John Grellian did a damn shit for us, a damn thing for us in 8 years. Zero. The only his shining accomplishment is FC Cincinnati Stadium. And it wouldn't have mattered who this mayor was. That was going to happen no matter what. What has the man done? I don't know. I'm still waiting to figure it out. I'm sure there's something. Anyway. And just yesterday, you down here riding on Betsy Sunderman's jock. And then anyway, I'm saying anything about her. I'm just saying metaphorically. And trying to roast another black person, this time Wendell Young, for some dumb-ish, talking about some text messages. I don't care what he deleted. So what? So what? And those are not kitchen table issues. It don't put no money in my pocket. Does it put money in your pocket? No, it puts no food on the table. It doesn't close the racial wealth gap. It doesn't put people into affordable housing. It doesn't address any of the issues that Cincinnati voters really care about at all. It's just some dumb ish. And you down here running case, and you got the nerve to talk about Kamara? Because she asked your brother a question, which I don't know the details about. Come on now. Oh my gosh, my work is just getting started. Jalen writes, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Jalen. Jerome writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Janice writes, good morning, everyone. Tiffany writes, good morning. Janice writes, where were you Monday? I was off Monday and Tuesday, a bit under the weather. Hopefully you can tell I've got a lot of my strength back. I'm feeling much better and ready to rock with you throughout the rest of the week, today and tomorrow. I hate being off. Sister Iris writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. Andrielle writes, good morning, Nathan and friends. I just want to give you, I just want to create a platform where we can have some interesting conversations in the morning time. Your morning destination for interesting conversation. That's what it is. And primarily as a Black man, we talk about things from the Black perspective, from the African-American perspective, from the whatever you want to call a perspective. And it is what it is. That's who I am. That's who this show is. It is what it is. But of course, we talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? The world we live in today, people like to talk. So let's talk. Cincinnati has a locally based talk morning show that focuses on the Black community. The only in Cincinnati, and we're digitally based. You can check us out on Facebook. I put the stream on YouTube. Then the podcast is up after that. That's what we do. And I embrace it. Terrence writes, good morning, everyone. Jerica writes, hola, beautiful Black people, and the others too. Sarah writes, good morning, Grand Risings family. Sister Iris writes, yes, Bessie Sunderman is one of the three. I agree. And the other two equally deserve this title. Yes, humans worse than COVID. Now, we talked about Amy Cooper at the top. And what was her punishment? She had to do like 5, racial bias training classes. And the charges were dropped against her primarily because the Black man, Christian Cooper, was in his feelings. And here's a quote from the documents. Even a perfunctory investigation would have shown that the plaintiff did not shout at Christian Cooper or call the police from Central Park on May 25th, 2020, because she was a racist. She did these things because she was alone in the park and frightened to death after being selected as the target of Christian Cooper, an overzealous birdwatcher engaged in Central Park's ongoing feud between bird watchers and dog owners. This is the complaint from her lawyers. Now, I don't know where Christian Cooper is, but he should feel like a damn fool because you had an opportunity to roast her ass and you didn't on some, can we all just get along type stuff. And here she is further criminalizing you in her own civil lawsuit against her previous employer who fired her because of what happened and what she did and hit the news. There's no shame. That's why I say you can't give these Karens and Darrens any quarter. Don't give them no room to breathe. You catch them on video or audio doing something, you roast them. That's what you do. Don't get all in your feelings. I just want to leave things. Let bygones be bygones. Those days are over, family. The let bygones be bygone days are over. When you got the goods, you roast them. And you roast them for the people that's going to come behind you. It's bigger than you. Christian Cooper didn't do that. She might look around and get a job. If she don't get a job back, she might get a lump payout. So now she's going to get a lump payout because Christian Cooper was in his feelings. He's worse than COVID too, quite honestly. I think I got an image here of the two of them. I think I got an image. Hold on a second. Because y'all might be like, what are you talking about? Christian Cooper. I don't know what he's talking about. I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Let me see here. The footage is out there. In the footage, you can clearly hear him telling her, like, can you put a leash on your dog, please? And she just explodes. Who you talking to? I'm going to say it again. The moral of the story is when you get the goods on the Karen and Darren because they acting racist in public or on the job, you roast them. You roast their ass. You take it as far as legally you possibly can. Why? It'll send a message to the individual that there's consequences for this kind of stuff. Human beings do what they do because if you show me a human being behaving badly on the job, they're doing that because they know they can get away with it. There ain't no consequences. But when you show them there's consequences, oh, my benefits are being affected. You better believe they're going to snap to it. They're going to snap to it. She was wrong. He was wrong for that. I don't know who I think I'm more upset with Christian Cooper, the brother, than I am with her. I wish I could find that interview. He did a whole interview with Nightline or 2020 or some big time media outlet talking about, I just want to let bygones be bygones. You damn fool. You think she going to do that for you? I just want to let bygones be bygones. I'll get to the others in a second, but we got a call coming in. Let's take it. Let's see who's on the line. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
How you doing today, Nathan?
I'm doing wonderful. What a pleasant voice.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, that's. I'm extremely disgusted.
Wow, I'm surprised.
I'm effing disgusted. Yeah,
Effing
I don't know why you're
disgusted.
surprised. This is quite possibly the absolute worst effort on a work night I've ever seen you give today. You had Ryan Messer on there. You tried to throw him the alley-oop to diss Laura Mitchell. He didn't take the bait. Yeah, well, from the inside looking out, can you tell us all the dirt? He was like, he caught that bullshit because he knew you were trying to bully her. You've been on a bullying crusade of this black woman for quite some damn time now. He didn't catch the alley-oop. You went straight up Sherm Douglas to Stevie Thompson, Syracuse in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson to James Worthy, but it was more like Magic Johnson to Kurt Rambis. You know, he just gave you a little lay-in and slap the glass instead of banging at home. And you know that's what you were doing. Amy Cooper, I told you way back when this happened, that dumb nigga should have never said nothing to that woman. There was no reason to bother her. Her dog wasn't aggressive. Her dog wasn't aggressive doing anything to anybody. There was no reason to bother her. It's the same stuff we be talking about Karens. Leave us alone. We ain't bothering you.
How do you know?
What you mean? We've seen the video.
Oh, you saw the video?
He was just a gay man. He was a gay black man who accosted her. He forgot he was black first. I told you that. Gay black men are ruining the black community. And this is just another example of it. He didn't follow through because he didn't have the heart to follow through on it. And when in the end, you should have never bothered her in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I know what you're saying. I know you don't. You know, you support that kind of stuff, you know. But it is what it is. You know, I'm saying you support not following through. You know, there was I don't understand why dude even, you know, pressed her about her dog. Oh, well, if it's an aggressive, you know, nasty, snarling, foaming at the mouth dog, yeah, then I get it. Okay. But that little thing, you know, and this was a big old dude. You know, he was every bit of 6'2", 6'3". You know what I'm saying? Like, why you know? So exactly, her lawyer did exactly what he was supposed to do. Use all that against him and trying to get her case. Her lawyer, she owes him nothing. You know, what's our dude named Christian Cooper? Is that his name?
Correct.
Yeah, the dude who, she don't owe him nothing. Yeah, so yeah, usually I was alone in the park scared. That's what she's basically saying. This big hulking SOB walks up on me.
Yeah, that's not racist.
You know what I'm saying? That's his fault. That's his fault.
Yeah, that's his fault.
I told you that way back. I said it way back when it happened. There was no reason to accost her.
There was no reason to ask her to obey the laws and put a leash on your dog in the park. You're right.
Oh,
Only
okay,
you're wrong.
Well, like you said, these Karens and Darrens, when they do it to us, don't get mad. Don't get mad. If I ain't bothering you and you call the police on me, I can't get mad. Or somehow the police get involved. That's what he just did. It was just the reverse. What if he was a white man accosting a black woman? What would you say then? You probably say, "Good job, white man," because you hate black women. Ask Laura Mitchell.
But he wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, and yeah, you're taking pot shots at the brethren. I don't understand. He did what he was downtown practicing citizenry.
Oh, you sound like a damn
fool. Why is it funny? Why is it the joke of the show?
Because he sound like a damn fool. He made himself into a Gilligan. That's why. And we laugh at Gilligans. What you mean? Why?
Oh, so we're not allowed to practice. So when we practice citizenry, it's the butt of jokes on your show.
He was practicing fuckery, not citizenry. It's a whole different thing.
I understand you have a modicum of fondness to Wendell Young.
Oh, I like Wendell Young a lot. It ain't a modicum. It's more than that.
Exactly. So therefore, he's going at one of your favorites. That's
I can understand where you can say that.
Admit that from the giddy up, that he's going after one of your favorites, and you're a little uncomfortable. Give us the whole context.
I told you the whole context.
Instead of just trying to make my mans in them.
He's going after a man that's done a lot for the community, simply because he's in his feelings. Because Wendell Young ran his boy down. I think it was Rayshawn Mack when he was trying to get the sorter board appointment. That's what it's all about. I mean, we 100% on point.
Two things about that. He's going after a man who was facing a state indictment. One, and two, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. That's all. Whether he's sticking up for his man or not, it is what it is. If Wendell would have been a little more diplomatic about it, instead of trying to be a smart ass, we wouldn't be here.
Diplomatic about
what?
You read
what you saw. You talked all that diplomatic about denying Rayshawn Mack the sorter board appointment.
Well, Rayshawn Mack deserved to not be on. Rayshawn Mack did not deserve to be on a sorter board.
All he deserved was a simple no. He did not deserve a black elder embarrassing him like that.
He reaped what he sowed. He was on Twitter acting like a child, acting petulant, acting incorrigible, acting sophomoric. And he got that when he wanted something from them very same people that he was talking about. That's human interaction.
Now since Wendell recycled the energy is being recycled back on him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but don't try to legitimize it.
He should have maintained some gravitas as an elected official. He should have maintained some gravitas and just diplomatically denied the young brother, the young black man. Hence, he's playing into the gender war that's forever going between black males. Wendell did not help the situation at all. He wanted to show his ass. Denying the young brother, he didn't have to do all that.
He didn't deserve to be on the school. He didn't do all. He just ran his ass down with the facts. He didn't call him out of his name. Wendell Young did not call him out his name. He ran down the facts. Go back and look at the tape. He ran down the facts. He was very professional. Right. That's what made it so fucking funny to me, is that he ran them down in a very professional manner. He reaped what he sowed. Rayshawn Mack got exactly what he deserved that day, period.
Was that not a quote directly from Wendell Young?
What? The ending quote from Black Russia? Yeah, I don't know what that was. I think that was I don't know. I think so, but I don't remember what the context was. Was he talking about Rayshawn Mack or talking about the mayor or something like that?
I don't. I thought it was the mayor.
I thought it was the mayor too.
Let's bounce something. But however, it's his quote, and it was apropos at that moment.
It was fuckery.
However you being what does the guy from California call you? Drop. What does he call you? Fair and unbalanced, fair and biased, or whatever. You doing what you do. You're not presenting that side, and that's what the alt middle does. That's what the alt middle presents to your show.
Okay.
We blow up your negatives so that the choppers can see the bigger picture.
I appreciate that.
Okay. And before I go, I just want to say one thing.
Sure.
Listen, brother, not you, Nathan. There's a brother out there. I don't know who needs to hear this. Let's just put it like that.
Oh, boy.
But you're becoming petulant again. Starting to mention our name again. I just gave you some props a couple weeks ago. Now you just say, oh, that ain't enough. I want to be on their bad side. You know, brother, listen, I'm not going to address you anymore. That's why I'm not mentioning your name. You know why? Because I was in the friends group last night. I go through 25 posts. You make 20 of them. There ain't a goddamn comment on none of them. Nobody finds you interesting. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go to the friends group. Go look at the first 25 posts and see who made 20 of them. Nathan, it's been real. I had fun, and we'll chat again.
Let's do it.
Ow!
If you throw me to the wolves, I will emerge leading the pack. That's fame. That's hilarious. He is nuts. He is nuts. Let's look at Black Russia again. This is on City Council. Listen to this billigan shit. Listen to this.
Let's bounce this up. Thank you.
Let's see. Let me go back a little bit.
Neighborhoods
You got to see this.
Pass these resolutions.
Hold on. We got a call coming in. Your calls are my priority. Let's go straight back to the phone. So you put me back on the cam. There we go. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, the most hated and very rarely congratulated, the voice of reason, the only or the one of few Black not Democrat, Drop Squad 52. What's up, sir?
What's up, man? One of few now. Okay. The numbers are increasing.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
I had to change it up. They not as vocal as I am, but there are some that I'm noticing in the YouTube chat room or the YouTube chop shop. Okay. So shout out to the few Black not Democrats, those silent but deadly voices out there. And before I get started, Mr. Ivy, shout out to the alt middle and all their affiliates, because the truth must be told. You may not like the truth, but the truth must be told. And the truth is, Mr. Ivy, the Biden administration, the Vice President Kamala Harris are not being held accountable. I am upset. I am disgusted with the Nathan Ivy Show, because you are covering silly ass topics like white folks in the park arguing with black folks looking at birds. We need to be talking about equity and tangibles and how this current administration is not being honest. They are not being transparent, especially with the black agenda and the black voters of this country. When? How long are you and other members of the new black media are going to give Joe Biden a pass? It's almost like the Obama-Biden remix. Mr. Ivy, the man is going to meet next week with Vladimir Putin in Switzerland. Mr. Ivy, Joe Biden called Vladimir Putin a killer. He called him a killer and talking about Trump. Trump was Putin's little puppet. He was his little bitch. Now, sleepy Joe Biden, if he can stay awake, he gonna go meet Vladimir Putin with no preconditions, Mr. Ivy. And then Donald Trump, Mike Pompeo, Republican Senator Tom Cotton were all right about the Wu flu, about the Kung flu, about the China virus. And Dr. Fauci, his little complicit ass with the Wuhan lab, Mr. Ivy, it is true. And you're not covering this. Mr. Ivy, just think if the truth would have came out last year about the origin of this virus, how many lives could have been saved? How many businesses could have been saved? How many new black startups could have been saved? How many homes could have been saved, Mr. Ivy? But no.
If Trump wasn't
But
president.
no, stop mentioning his name. He ain't president no more.
You just brought him up.
This is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden's America. And Mr. Ivey, I know you will adhere to the voice of the people that it is time. It is time to start holding this administration accountable when it comes to the black agenda, Mr. Ivey, because I hate to say that I was the voice that told a lot of black people that just getting rid of Trump, that it was going to be issues when you bring in Joe Biden. It could have been somebody else. It was many other candidates that the Democrat Party could have brought in. But they bring in old ass Sleepy Joe. And he gonna lie talking about, I'm a moderate. I ain't progressive. Don't worry. I'm not going to go down that socialist path. And look at him now, calling infrastructure stuff that's not infrastructure, changing the meaning of infrastructure, changing the meaning of defund the police, changing the meaning of crime. Mr. Ivey, this administration needs to be held accountable. People are getting killed. 9 people were shot in a mass killing out here in San Jose, California, Mr. Ivey. The violence in Chicago last week, 50 people shot and 12 dead, and one was a teenager. Mr. Ivey, this administration needs to be held accountable.
Okay, I'm sorry. Really important point?
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done. Because you stop. Okay, you better have stopped me because I was mad.
Oh, I hear it, man. Great flows. I mean, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. You're a hypocrite, but great flows nonetheless, man. I mean, your energy has changed so much. Your energy has changed so much. Now you all about tangibles and equity for black folks. You didn't bring none of this shit up when Trump was in office. You ain't say a damn thing about a black agenda until the last 2 to 3 months of his, right before the election, and he came out with that platinum plan. Previous to that, when you was calling in, all you was doing was this.
Well, I mean,
that, you know what that
Ivey,
is? All you was doing was kissing Trump's arse. That's all you was doing. Now, all of a sudden,
no, I wasn't.
Biden, yes, you was. Every time you called in, that's all I heard. Biden hasn't been in office for a year yet, and you talking about, where's the agenda? We got to hold him accountable. Man, such a hypocrite.
Mr. Ivey, Joe Biden is my president. Okay, I'm not like some of these other fools when Trump was in, he ain't my president. No, I am an American citizen. Even though I did not vote for the Democratic Party, Joe Biden is my president, and I'm going to hold him accountable. And second of all, I am black in this country. He said he had a black agenda for America. Even though the 2 items at the top of that list, John Lewis voting and the George Floyd Justice Act, to me, I don't think that should be the 1 and 2 items on the black agenda. I think we should be talking about economics. We should be talking about access to capital. That's what we should be talking about. But for some reason, when a black man who votes for a Republican because of their ideology, what they stand for when it comes to economics and individual rights and individuals' pursuit of their American dream. This is what I'm talking about, Mr. Ivey. I think Joe Biden needs to be held accountable because black people have been bamboozled again, those who vote for Democrats. And all I'm saying, there is an alternative out there, and we still got time. We still got a lot of time left in this administration, but we all know how politics work. The midterm elections will start next year. So again, it's still time for Joe Biden to get something done. But I think, Mr. Ivey, he's just not being held accountable. That's all I'm saying. And he's my president too.
All right, brother.
Okay, so you can call me a hypocrite all you want. I don't care, Mr. Ivey. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care because I could be Kwame Brown and give you some of this mama's cooking, but I ain't even going down that road. I'll save that. I'll save that for another call. Drop Squad 52, also known as the Black Not Democrat, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Where's the Political Petty Podcast? Do you need a guest on your show?
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. From fame to drop. From Black Russia to fame to drop. A lot of fun though. You know, a lot of energy. That black man right there. That black man right there. Now he all about black agendas. He ain't have nothing to say about a black agenda until the last 2 or 3 months of Trump's term in office, because Trump was trying to bamboozle black voters and came up with a fucking platinum plan. Oh, black people love platinum. Remember back in the 90s? All of their rappers, all of their leaders were wearing platinum. Yeah, you had a platinum plan. Didn't say nothing about a black agenda for 3 years and 9 months. 3 months before the election, we got a platinum plan. But now the man hasn't even been in office for 6 months, and you talking about where's the black agenda? I'm not saying that conversation shouldn't be had, and those questions shouldn't be had, but they shouldn't be coming from drop. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let me get back to this. I'm talking about some local stuff. This is from yesterday's City Council. City Council discussed and then voted on whether to suspend Wendell Young. I'm glad to see they did not, but what does that mean for the near future? Let me see if I can pull this back here. Because Bessie Sunderman, she was one of the authors. I think she was the author of issue 2. And, you know, this is something that's really important for her because, you know, division and politicizing and polarizing things is a good way to get reelected. And again, I've got no doubts. I would not be surprised whatsoever if Bessie Sunderman is reelected. I would not be surprised. Her brand of politics probably really plays very well in certain neighborhoods in Cincinnati. To me, we've been through it. I want to play this for you, and it'll illustrate why I say that she's worse than COVID. She's way worse than COVID. Check this out.
Fourth, including Mr. Young.
Yes.
Gooden.
Yes.
Ernie.
Yes.
Keating. Yes. Landsman.
Yes.
Mann. Yes. Silbott.
Yes.
Smitherman.
Yes.
Sunderman. Yes.
Thank you, and thank you to Ms. Sansoni and Mr. Seifert. Thank you for participating today, and we'll see you soon. The next item is item 27, which I have to, I think, under the charter, recognize the clerk of council and the city solicitor.
Mr. President, members of council, this motion has been placed on the calendar pursuant to Section 4C, Article 2, Legislative Power of the Charter of the City of Cincinnati, which was adopted by the electors of the city on May 4th, 2021, as certified by the Hamilton County Board of Elections on May 18th, 2021. This motion is for the suspension of Councilmember Wendell Young. In order for this motion to pass, it will require 7 votes of the members of council. Councilmember Young cannot vote on the item. However, he or his legal counsel may make comments. If the motion is adopted, Councilmember Young's suspension will take effect immediately.
Solicitor Garth, did you want to add anything to that?
Nothing at this time.
Councilmember Sunderman, who I believe brought forth the motion.
This is actually the clerk's motion brought forth by the charter amendment, but I'm happy to speak first on it. So everyone here on council and everyone on Zoom wanted this suspension option on the ballot on May 4th, including Mr. Young. He voted to put it on the ballot in the event a council member got indicted, and that's exactly what happened after we voted to put it on the ballot. Issue 2 passed with 78% of the votes, and that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So voters have sent a clear message that they want us council members who are under indictment to be suspended. Let's listen to the voters. We also know that corruption has been a big problem here at City Hall. Issue 2 has finally given us a tool to deal with it. Let's show our citizens of Cincinnati that we're listening to them and are committed to cleaning up
A tool of division. There it is. There it is. Thank you. Yeah, you can hear me. Jesse writes, Nathan getting his mime on again. Sorry about that. All right. Thank you, Kamara. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm doing my thing, talking. So as we sit here right now, as I just said, I'll say it again because my sound was potted down. Nothing prevents nothing prevents a developer from sitting down with a member of city council, discussing development, the deal, the pros and cons. There's nothing preventing a developer from trying to shoot their shot, so to speak, with a member of city council. And there's nothing preventing a member of city council in that meeting from saying, hey, listen, want to put some money in my campaign coffers? Nothing prevents that. Issue 2 is a political tool that can be used in the near future, just like it was used yesterday, to score points and to try to make individual council persons look good. That's all it is. It doesn't prevent anything. Can we stop acting like it prevents something? It's not proactive, it's reactive. Issue 2 says, look, if you got a member of city council that's under indictment, then 7 members of city council, if they vote for it, can suspend that member of city council. How does that prevent anything? Oh, by the way, and it's duplicative, because if you look at Tamaya Denard, Jeff Pastor, PG Sittenfield, guess what? They all left city council early after their indictments, all of them. So we never had a situation where it was the will of the voters or the overall will of city council persons for one of their members, their colleagues who had been indicted, to leave the council. But that indicted council member was just holding on like a life raft. That never happened. And then the turnout, we're talking about a primary. We're not talking about a general election. We're talking about a very, very small percentage of the overall electorate that actually voted in the primary. Stop acting like this was like a general election during a presidential year and we had a significant amount of turnout. We're talking about a sliver of the electorate, a sliver. Please stop. This is why Betsy Sunderman is worse than COVID. Because what Betsy Sunderman should be doing is working for the people, delivering some equity, policy, intangibles, kitchen table issues. But she's trying to mine for gold with the demise of this black man. Why would you come up with positive or any kind of substantial, legislation when you can just do the good old let's go after the black dude type stuff? You know what I'm saying? This is purely politics. It's been that way from the beginning. It remains that way. It remains that way. Simple as that. And did you see, Kamar writes, she was forced to resign. Right. So we never had a scenario where council members are just holding on like, I'm not leaving. It never happened. It never happened. If I was on council, I would not have voted to put it on to allow voters to vote for it, I think, because I understood what it was. It was a game, but it is what it is. We are where we are. Let me go back to this. I want you to see all of this.
City Hall. So I encourage everyone to vote yes.
Mr. President.
Oh my God. We can do so much better. You telling me that's the best we got in Cincinnati? Come on, we can do better than that, family. We can do better than that. We can definitely do better than that. T. Lawrence Graston writes, why does Jan Michelle get a pass? She's appointed too, hashtag Gang of Five. Who said she was getting a pass? Daryl writes, I agree with you, Nate, but when black people don't get their asses out to vote, elections have consequences. Pisses me off. Absolutely. Lawrence writes, all the Democrats voted to suspend Young, hashtag Gang of Five. They did, which, on the surface is interesting. Why did the Democrats vote to suspend Wendell Young and he is one of their own? Well, I think the answer to that is we need to look at Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney's conversation, her comments as to why she voted the way she did, which I thought was very interesting. All right, I want to play this for you. I want you to check this out.
Police Department.
Might take a second.
Of the votes. And that was about 2 or 3
oh,
weeks
Lord,
ago.
We can't do this again.
Cincinnati, that we're listening to them.
Neither you nor your family.
Okay, I'm trying to get the timing right for you.
When Wendell Young, you deserve better than this. I firmly believe that you will be exonerated of these charges against you and the truth will come to light. But my vote today will be yes, because I know that we're between a rock and a hard place. A no vote today would result in you having to undergo a long and drawn out, expensive, and very stressful process that no doubt would take a negative toll on your health and the health of your family. Neither you nor your family deserve that. Your life has been, and I know will continue to be, about your passion for service. You enlisted in the U.S. Air Force upon graduating from high school. After your military career, you came home and joined the Cincinnati Police Department. That was in 1967, during a very tumultuous time for race relations here and across the country. There were few African Americans in the police force at that time, and I can only imagine what the culture was like at that point in time. You stayed committed to good police work. You rose to the position of commander of the police recruiting unit, and you faithfully served in the Cincinnati Police Department for 25 years. After leaving CPD, you joined the city administration as our Equal Employment Opportunity Officer and Assistant Director of Personnel, and you were honored by the U.S. Senate for your contributions. Then you were called back to the Cincinnati Police Department to fill the position of Assistant to the Police Academy Commander. You also taught high school students government and public administration and law and public policy at Aiken High School. You've served as president of the Sentinel Police Association, and you also served as president of the Cincinnati branch of the NAACP. You've been on city council since you were appointed in 2010. I looked at the numbers of a few elections and saw that you always came in near the top without having to raise a ton of money, because the community knows you, appreciates you, and shows up to vote for you. And that's because you've always shown up for the community. You've always represented the voice of those who were silenced, forgotten, pushed aside, and ignored. You always fight for those who don't have money, influence, and political power. Those who are struggling every day just to survive, who can't contribute to candidates and might feel so enfranchised that they don't even show up at the polls. But they are a part of our Cincinnati family, and you've shown us that they deserve the same opportunities and respect as the rich and powerful. It has been an honor to serve on City Council with you. We should be here voting to honor you rather than suspending you. And I expect justice to prevail. I expect the truth to come to light. And with that faith and knowing that a no vote puts you and your family in a worse position, I will vote yes today. And I look forward to welcoming you back soon to your rightful seat on City Council.
Okay, so those were the comments of Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney to explain it. And this is all politics. So what happens next? And correct me if I'm wrong, as I understand it, the Ohio Supreme Court has appointed three retired judges to a commission that will consider if the court will suspend Young. If Wendell Young resigns or if the commission suspends him, then Chris Silbach would have the power to appoint someone to fill his seat, because Silbach is Young's designated successor, or he has been designated to appoint his successor, or a successor designee, I think is what they call it. Now, if the courts do it, which, and Chris Silbach has said since then on social media that he will appoint a black person. So I just want to say there's a difference between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. Okay, I'm just saying. I just want black people to know, because sometimes people miss the details. The Republicans have had 3 shots at it. And in one case, they appointed a white male to replace a black male. To the Republican Party, there are no qualified black people to be on city council. To the Democrat Party, when Tamaya Denard was forced to resign, who was appointed to replace her? A black female. I want to make that point. It was a Democrat. It was P.G. Sittenfield who made that decision. People need to know that. And now again, you have another Democrat, a white male, saying that if a black member of city council is suspended, that he understands the need for racial leadership, equity and leadership, and he will appoint a black person, an African American, to take their place. Now, you might not think that's significant, but I think it is significant. It says a whole lot to me. But what do you think? Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Nate, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Glenn. Welcome.
You know, it's funny because you're preaching in real time, Nate, because I'm actually listening to you and down the dial and turning my computer on so I can get ready to work in about 13 minutes. But Steve Gooden is down the dial right now. And everything that you're saying, he's actually affirming it. And basically, they're scared as hell that Wendell Young will get to pick his replacement and a black replacement. Now, he's not saying that per se, but you can hear it in his voice. And apparently, he voted against not suspending Wendell Young, and this is their play, because this is exactly what's said, because the Democrats want to pick his replacement, and they want to pay him while he's on suspension. And it's funny that you mentioned the Supreme Court case, because that's what he mentioned. So you know what I did? I wrote Scott Salon an email and said, well, ask Steve Gooden about Larry Householder up in Columbus, and does that Supreme Court statute apply to him? Because he accepted, what, $60-something million? You feel me, Nate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. but what you're saying is exactly right. And, you know, it's funny because all the little stupid shit that you hear from the alt-middle type folks in Cincinnati, and, you know, I don't lie to you. I give you the links. I verify what I say. Republicans are trying to take over your city council, and they're already talking about Silbach being turned out. They're going after the last Mohican of the Gang of Five. What's the guy that Landsman? You know, he's already out there. I told you a couple of weeks ago that the Republicans are lining up behind David Mann. They already called Aftab Pearlball the light-skinned PG Sittenfeld. That's a little thing that they saying now. Oh yeah, Nate. It's going down. I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on. But that's exactly why Steve Gooden said. He said that the Democrats wanted to pick his replacement because they wanted to pay Wendell Young while he was on suspension. And, and that's what they worry about. So, like I said, I just wanted to get that in. I just thought it was ironic that, of course, you on top of shit like always, but you talking about the same thing in real time and giving facts to the chop shop, man. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I really don't have a whole lot to say about little alt driftish after especially his little performance on Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago and then his calls today. And has anybody noticed that the whole damn crew is a bunch of crackpots? I mean, really? I mean, Fame got a picture of him in Black Finneytown sitting at some bar. He looking like Juicy from the PJs, and Black Beachmont, he looking like Gator. I'm like, what the hell? Like, who's paying for the check? Hey, man, I got to get to work. I'm out. Petty peace.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It's Mason Mahler. I'm going to reach out to Steve Gooden and try to get him on the show because he said some things during yesterday's city council meeting that are worthy of going over again. Essentially what he said is he felt like these charges against Wendell Young was some BS. It has nothing to do. It's not the same as other people. He wasn't accepting bribes. He deleted some text messages. We don't know what they were. We have no idea. It has nothing to do with his job per se. And, he acknowledged his service, which I respect. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan. It's Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tracy. Good morning and welcome.
I was watching that debacle yesterday down at City Council. And, the one question that I had, I kind of chuckled to myself and said, so I wonder how many more pictures there will be of Betsy Thunderman and Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney doing their girl power thing. I was just like, because they're on polar opposite ends of the spectrum. I said maybe that'll end the girl power pictures. And then, looking at Black Russia. That's my guy and everything, but he sure does know how to stay in the camera's face. I tell you, that was hilarious to me. But, I wasn't surprised because Black Russia is probably one of the boldest people that I know in the chop shop. But the real reason for my call, just to give you a laugh today, Nathan, I am pleased and my blood pressure is down because these cicadas are not effing with me. In Forest Park, they are making a noise, but they're not flying around. They're not getting in my car. And trust me, I'm knocking on all wood from all cylinders. I don't know why they're lazy. Now, somebody told me that the females are not out yet. That's why they're not flying around and stuff. I don't know how true that is. But I'm calling this week 2, the end of week 1 going into 2. I don't know. I just want this stuff over with. I've even been outside. I had to go get the police report the other day, and I've not had to use my racket. I didn't put my little mask on. I didn't use my umbrella. So I'm doing good right now. And, I'm sure there's somebody out there in the chop shop laughing, talking about these clowns. They don't bite, blah, blah. We had our talk about that the other day. I don't care. Laugh at me if you want to. But my blood pressure is low. And, I've seen some dead on the ground. Now, don't get me wrong. Yesterday was my first Wednesday going to work in cicada hell. And there was one chilling right on the door greeting me, but I walked past him like he was invisible. So you would be proud of me, Nathan. But if it should change, I'll call you back with my cicada update. I'm going to have a cicada update during these 6 weeks, every couple weeks. So I'll let you know if I had a meltdown or a panic attack, just to give you a laugh.
You know what? I need a laugh. I'll take it. I appreciate that. I'll be looking forward to it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Most def. Man, you cicada people, I'll be honest with you. I've been unimpressed. I'm totally unimpressed by the whole cicada apocalypse. These little bitty things. The other day, just yesterday, the wife and I were taking a walk together, which was always fun. And there were a lot of cicadas that were dead on the ground. And I was like, they seem smaller than what I remember. I'm just unimpressed. Completely unimpressed. It was way overblown, at least where I live at. And maybe it's early on and the females haven't emerged yet from Brood X. I don't know, but I'm totally unimpressed. And, my wife and I were just talking and laughing at these cicada people like they don't want you. She was talking to me about our son and she had took him to school and he didn't want to get out the car and da-da-da-da. I'm like, that's kids for you, but cicadas, no issue whatsoever. I'm worried about these humans. Humans worse than cicadas. Humans worse than cicadas. That's what I'm worried about. These cicadas, they're no problem. It's these humans that are the real problem. So we talked about Amy Cooper from the New York Central Park. We talked about Bessie Sunderman, who I would hope that she doesn't get reelected because she just seems to be a force of division. It ain't personal, but every time she opened her mouth, it sounds some dumb shit. Every time. The only time when she is not on some dumb ish is when she's teaming up with Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney on some kind of initiative. Other than that, it's always some dumb ish, us against them, Democrats versus Republican. Worse than COVID. Let's talk about this woman on the right here. We must talk about her. Why does she make the list? What does she do? What's her issue? Okay. We can discuss all of that. Before we do that, though, I want to remind you and give you a heads up about the virtual event that's going to happen on Wednesday, June 3rd from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Again, that's Wednesday, June 3rd. So it's just next week. Black Landscapes Matter Town Hall. This is being put forward by the Black environmental leaders. They're going to be talking about the Cincinnati gun range and what's the impact. And you can watch it live on Facebook. Go to facebook.com, Common Strategies. And as you can see, they're going to have a lot of folks who'll be a part of the conversation as well. How many people live in Lincoln Heights? How many people are aware of the environmental issues that the folks in Lincoln Heights have been dealing with? This is a super, super serious issue. We couldn't get some of this CARES money to move the gun range. Come on, man. We couldn't get the lawyers to finesse the language. Make it work. But again, I'll give you a heads up, and I'll give you a heads up every day up until, and I'll share it on Wednesday as well, so you can be a part of it. I love the virtual, should I say, town halls, because it's just so easy to watch. All you gotta do is go on Facebook, and we're on Facebook right now. So again, that's Wednesday, June 3rd from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Eastern time. Cincinnati Gun Range. What's the impact? They got some of the brothers who are involved with the heist movement who will be a part of the conversation, along with Renee Mahaffey Harris. She's the president and CEO of the Center for Closing the Health Gap, and also Bishop Bobby Hilton as well. He's the chief of staff of Hamilton County Commissioner Stephanie Dumas, who I've been hearing some rumors about her. I've been hearing some rumors about Stephanie Dumas. Have you heard the rumors? I can't confirm or deny. Will she be running for re-election? I don't know. But again, that's Wednesday, June 3rd from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can watch it on Facebook Live at Common Strategies, or Common Strat, STRAT. Okay? Black environmental leaders. And you hear me talk about it off and on between now and up until Wednesday as well. Just so you can be aware. It's not if it's not something you down with, I get it. But if it is, now you know. Now you know. It's my job to let you know what's going on. But let me talk about this woman here who is worse than COVID, as I said we would. Her name is Virginia Brown, bottom right. And she's being charged with 7 counts of felony reckless endangerment after allegedly driving her car through a COVID-19 vaccination site as an apparent protest against the vaccine. She apparently nearly hit about 7 people. And allegedly, while she was driving through, she screamed, "No vaccine!" Just picture that for a second. Picture this woman, bottom right. This happened down in Tennessee. Her name is Virginia Brown, yelling, "No vaccine!" while almost hitting 7 people with her SUV. Apparently, a sheriff deputy witnessed the incident and performed a traffic stop, and she was arrested. She claimed that she only drove 5 miles an hour. The sheriff office said she drove through the vaccination area at a high rate of speed, which she probably did. Like I told you, man, COVID is the least of our worries. We got to worry about these people. That's the real problem. People like this. These are the real enemies of human beings' well-being, them. Now, I can understand you being against the COVID. See, this is what I don't understand about some Americans. We all have our opinions, right? We're all entitled to our opinions. You can live your life pretty much the way you want to. I just don't get these individuals who believe that because you feel a certain way, that you're going to force everybody else to feel that way, like abortion. My attitude is, if you're against abortion, okay, don't have one. Same thing with the vaccines. If you're against the vaccines, okay, don't get one. But when it rises to the level where you want to intimidate people by driving through at a high rate of speed through a vaccination site, screaming no vaccine, well then, ma'am, that qualifies you to be nominated as one of the humans that are worse than COVID this week. So that's what I did. That's the real problem. It won't be COVID. It won't be the aliens. It won't be any of that. What's going to cook our goose on planet Earth will be people that look just like this. These are the people that are going to cook our goose. These are the real problems in our society. Humans, say it with me, worse than COVID. COVID never ran through a vaccination site with an SUV. COVID never did that. But Virginia did. Oh my God, I don't care. Brandy's in the chop shop. She writes, good morning. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brenda writes, happy Thursday. Jerica writes, hola, beautiful black people, and the others too. Miss D writes, greetings. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin writes, alt middle has one major axiom. Don't start none, won't be none. Good goddamn morning. Other than that, the children are our mission. It's not a small time thing. Ms. D writes, Nate, real dog people don't do any of the issue talking about. Responsible dog owners use leashes and pick up poop and prefer everybody stay away from us when we are with our dogs. We don't want you meeting our dogs or asking to pet them, LOL. Well, I'm glad, because I have no problem with responsible dog owners. It's irresponsible dog owners I have a problem with. You got a miniature werewolf running through the park with kids and families with no leash because he's friendly. Go ahead and pet him. I don't want to pet your damn dog. I don't want to pet your dog. Ray writes here. Politically Petty Show writes, morning Nate and the Choppers. Hashtag flows ready to eat for everybody except Black Chillicothe and Gilligan affiliates. Black Chillicothe and Gilligan affiliates. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Drop Rice, get to the choppers.
Get to the chopper.
He's talking back and forth. Going ahead. That's hilarious. Ray's in the house. She writes, men is the operative word. These folks are kings and queens of the script flippers. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, my gosh. Let me see here. Charles writes, these Karens are idiots. Crystal writes, I hear what Miss Kearney was said, but I don't agree with the vote. I kind of feel the same way. I understand what they were trying to do. I get it. I get it. It's politics. I understand it. Charles writes, play the video, Nate. Georgia writes, humans versus cicadas. You got that right. I'll take cicadas over some of these humans any day of the week. In fact, I'll take cicadas in a side order of COVID before I would take some of these humans. It's going to be a human being that cooks our goose on planet Earth. At some point in the near future, we're going to have to flee this planet in search of a new home, just like Star Trek, or fill in the blank with the name of a sci-fi movie that fits the narrative. And it'll be because of some dumb shit a Gilligan did, a human did. It won't be because of the insects. I had to tell my son the other day, he's getting all his feelings about the cicadas. He's walking different routes, doesn't want to come up the steps to go to his house because there's a cicada right there. I'm like, this is your home. I don't want to walk past a cicada. You know, the man in me is like frustrated, but I got to show the boy patience. He's only 6. Speaking of my children, today's the last day of school for CPS. Congratulations. My daughter says she wants a banner. She wants a banner outside the house that reads, congratulations, Walnut Hills 11th grader. She wants something like that. So what do I have to do? Because she is spectacular. She is a straight A student. She has met all of my expectations. She hasn't exceeded it, but she's met all of my expectations. She's doing very well. She's an athlete. And she's doing a whole lot of extracurricular activities, and I love it. She has some issues with some of her girlfriends, but that's gonna happen with kids. But I like the way that she's dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm hard on my folks. I'm hard on my folks. And you know, like I said, she's rising to the top. She's rising to the top. I have purposely put her in situations where it was hard. I wanted her to do hard stuff. I put her in situations because it's difficult. Now, what you gonna do? And instead of sinking, she has been swimming. So I'm very, very pleased with her development. Now, my son is 6. We don't know which way this little boy gonna go. We don't know. Little boys, you don't know. I don't know. But all I know is he gonna get that same love and attention his sister got, and he's got her example and our example. So we'll see. We'll see. But shout out to all the graduates. I love this time of year. All the people posting photographs about their children graduating, or maybe they went back to school and they're getting their advanced degrees. I love this time of year, man. Keep it coming. I love to like and share. Hashtag Black Excellence. Congratulations. It's just fun to go on my timeline now because people are posting all these great things that they're doing and their children are doing. And I love it. Now, I'm jealous on some levels, not too much with you empty nesters. Some of y'all got an empty nest. I won't have an empty nest for another long time, over a decade. But it is what it is. I'm enjoying it nonetheless. So to all my recently, empty nesters out there, enjoy it. I'm happy for you. I'll be there in about 13 years. But nonetheless, I'm enjoyed it along the way. But again, I love this time of year, man. I love all the choppers posting photographs of their kids and their certificates from the first grade, the second grade, and third grade. I mean, this is what life is all about. I love the little ceremonies. I'm here for all the ceremonies. I love it. And then for people that are older and you're going back to get your education or to advance your education, bravo. Going back to get that, to maybe get that degree. Maybe get that master's, maybe get that doctorate degree, that advanced degree, your JD. I love it. Here. I love Black excellence. I love it. Keep it up. Congratulations. Mom and dad, congratulations. Because the way I look at it is when children graduate and are successful, that's a team thing. You know, mom and dad are not going to walk across that stage, but mom and dad, it was definitely instrumental. I'm going to weep. Me and my wife are going to hold each other and weep when our daughter walk across that stage. That's going to be a profound moment for us because I remember her coming home. Now, just yesterday, I was going through a photo album and I found some images of her when she was really, really young. Where is it actually? It's in my studio. Oh, it's over there. I may get it and show it to you tomorrow, but some images of when she was really little. She was super little. And I mean, like, I'm holding her in one arm, and now here she is, an 11th grader, 2 years away from graduating and going to college. And she's all forward thinking. She can't wait to leave home. She can't wait to get to do her own thing, which I'm for. I hope my son feels the same way. Because, you know, boys be trying to layer on. He don't want to leave the house till he 30. That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Because me and his mama trying to do our thing. Lawrence writes, Sunderman and Jam both voted yes to suspend Young. Hashtag Gang of Five, hashtag Girl Power. Yeah, but they voted for it for two different reasons. Let me see here. Charles writes, and the females are out. This cicada season is so mild. I mean, I'm so unimpressed by it. Again, it wouldn't matter to me if they were swarming through the city. I'm not skirmish about insects. Like, I don't know. I just grew up differently. I grew up, you know, in the woods, as they call it, playing in the grass, catching grasshoppers and bees and butterflies and whatever I could catch and chase down. I was trying to put into a jar and study it. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping outside in a tent in the grass, you know, that's like a problem. You know, so some cicadas, man, there's nothing to it. There's nothing to it, quite honestly. Sister Iris writes, the record of Wendell Young should be saluted. He has given his entire career to serving people, longer than most people have been alive. Thank you, Mr. Wendell Young. Ditto on that one, 100%. Terry writes, wildlife is having a smorgasbord on cicadas. They will be too full of them soon, and they will be out in hordes. Okay. Jenny writes, the swarm will happen. Okay. Let me see. Terry writes, Chris Hildebrandt connected to a few of these local indictments, but nobody has spoken about him on Black radio. I just read an article about him as if he was one of the folks that was working with the feds to make the case against Jeff Pastor. You're right about that, Terry. I haven't really got deep into that. I'm looking for a little bit more information, but I will speak on it. Yeah, I will speak on it. Let me see here. Let me see. Kellen writes, Landsman thinks that he's safe. Shaking my head. You talking about for re-election? Terrence writes, getting spicy today. Yeah, it did get spicy. T-Greg, aka Black Russia, writes, PG needs to set the example and quit. He don't need the seat or the money. Then Wendell, so y'all can have two Dems to give a head start to Dems. It's all hubris. Okay, I understand your point. I get it. Nat writes, politics. Absolutely. Okay. TNT writes, Wendell has a stellar record. I hate that this targeted effort to destroy Black leadership in one particular party got their clutches around him. Me too. Like I said, I think very favorably of Wendell Young. I have a favorable viewpoint of him. And the time and the work that he spent on city council, and it's based upon what I've heard him say over the years and the positions that he's taken. I've always thought that he was pensive. He was very thoughtful when he talked and articulated why he supported or didn't support particular issues and what his viewpoint was. And I think his politics jive with my own, quite honestly. And it's just. But I also say that when it goes to the text messaging thing, that people you gotta be smart. If I think the sunshine laws or the laws that were in question with the text messaging, I think they're outdated. But what I think don't mean a damn thing. There's still the laws on the book. So if you're on city council, you got to be smart. You got to be smart about it. Don't shoot yourself in the foot when you know there are other people that are targeting you. You just got to be smart about it. But it is what it is. I thought it was interesting that Christopher Smitherman, after all of his bluster and talk, abstained. I thought that was very interesting as well. Ronald writes, she's reading a list of reasons why he should be on council and she's voting to suspend. Tabitha writes, this is so fake. Yeah, people understand what's going on. Kamar writes, Wendell offers insight and wisdom. That has been my opinion. If I thought otherwise, I'd say that. But that's my honest opinion about the man. And I thought that he represented the city well and will continue to do so. And we need that kind of we need that kind of experienced, pensive, thoughtful leadership. Maybe pensive and thoughtful is redundant. We need that kind of thoughtful leadership on city council in these days and times. Even though he said we can be the new gang of five or something like that on the text messages, which, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't explain why. And then he was the one that said it in the text messages. And then when it got put out and put in public, the local media has never let it go. Let me see, 9:43 a.m. this morning. And let me jump around. So I presented the information that I intended to you. Let me just jump around here and see what's been happening and what's going on in terms of real-time news. Off the beaten path a little bit. I want to talk about Byron Allen real quick because I love what Byron Allen and Roland Martin are doing for Black-owned media platforms such as this. And a lot of people might look at what we're doing like, damn, they're on the level right here. But, you got to start somewhere. And as Drop said, and he's so right about this, it's never how you start, it's how you finish. Okay, nothing great. Rome wasn't built in a day. And this media platform won't be built in a day either. Okay, but we grow every day. But Byron Allen has a lawsuit against McDonald's. He put a quote out there: Black people built the wealthiest nation, and that's extortion. A $10 billion lawsuit against McDonald's is one of accountability and the desire to create economic inclusion for the Black community. I'm reading from the Griot. Now, it must be said that Byron Allen owns the Griot. Entertainment Studios is the parent company of the Griot. And Byron Allen has been focusing, and this is what you would expect from a conscious Black billionaire, if I can use that term describing him. If you're a Black billionaire, this is what you should be doing. While people are fighting down here, you should be fighting up here. $10 billion lawsuit. He's saying that basically McDonald's is not spending its fair share with Black-owned media companies, right, compared to how much Black people have supported McDonald's. And Black people love McDonald's. And I think he's got a point. It's worthy more investigation and more time and consideration. You got some of these big time companies, man, that love to take our dollars, but they don't want to spend their dollars with us. With Black owned. And see, when you're dealing with Black owned media, when the dollars come through, that creates Black wealth. When you're dealing with Black targeted media, when the dollars come in, it does not. And that's the core of what they're talking about here. People should really be paying attention to what him and Roland and Ice Cube and others and P. Diddy and others, because they've all ganged up. Like, this is like the Justice League. P. Diddy, Roland, Byron, Ice Cube, and whoever else, they should team up. They should team up and tackle these issues at a level that people like you and me, we're not on that level right now. We can't do that. They're on a different level. They should be doing that. They should be doing that. So I'm going to post a link here from the article in the Griot. And if you get some time or you're interested, just check it out for yourself and kind of follow, what they're talking about. And if you live in the city of Cincinnati, okay, hold on. Terrence is saying something here. Breaking news: the recommended Democratic council slate is Jeff Kremerding, Jan-Michelle Lynn McCurney, Reggie Harris, Mika Owens, Mark Jeffries, Scotty Johnson, Greg Landsman, Victoria Barks, Philip O'Neill. That's interesting. There's one name, Michelle Dillingham, Scotty Johnson. Michelle Dillingham, who finished 10th in 2017, was passed over. Is that right? Jeff Kremerding, I'm not hip to that. Reggie Harris, we spoke to him. Mika Owens, I haven't spoke with her. Mark Jeffries, haven't spoke to her. Scotty Johnson, haven't spoke with her. Victoria Parks, Philip O'Neill. Okay. That wouldn't be who would be on my slate. I mean, some of those people would be there, but there's some names that would be missing. What do you think about that? So Michelle Dillingham, two-time candidate, she lost the last election by less than 350 votes. She couldn't get the Democrat nomination? Source Chris Rhetoric. So that's interesting. I don't see Cam Hardy on that list. Why isn't Cam Hardy on that list? There's nobody on that list who has done what Cam Hardy has done. Let me see how I feel about this, because I'm feeling like this might be some bullshit real quick. Let me think about this. And I want to be fair. I mean, congratulations to all the people on the list. I wish the best for all of them. I don't wish any ill will or anything for people that are serious about it. I want to sit with this, and I need to speak. I spoke with. I got you, sis. You already know. I spoke with Reggie Harris, and I wasn't impressed. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I wasn't super impressed by Reggie Harris. I mean, nothing disrespectful to that brother. I wish him the best. I wasn't impressed after our conversation. That's just my opinion. I'm giving it to you straight. It don't mean shit what I think. I'm just telling you. Mika Owens, I haven't spoke with her. We're Facebook friends, I believe. I've seen a lot of stuff that goes up, but I haven't spoke with her yet. Mark Jeffries, I haven't spoke with him. Scotty Johnson, of course, I know Scotty. I haven't spoke with him about him running, but we have talked about him coming on the show. So I need to hear. As a man, I like Scotty Johnson. As a Cincinnati Council candidate, I don't know yet because I haven't spoken with him and asked him those questions. I like Greg Landsman. I like Greg Landsman on City Council. I like Jan-Michelle Lynn McCurney on City Council. I don't know Victoria Parks. She worked for Todd Portune for a long time. And then when he passed, she took over and sat in his seat. And now she is got the endorsement. I need to know more. And then Philip O'Neill, I know the name, but I don't know the man. Jeff Kremerding, know the name, don't know the man. I'm disappointed that the Democrats don't have Cam Hardy there. I'm disappointed in that. I think that when I look at those individuals and I see those names, and I'm talking about a Jeff Kremerding, which I fully admit I don't know enough about that man to say anything intelligent. Reggie Harris, Mika Owens, Mark Jeffries, Victoria Parks, Philip O'Neill. None of them, in my opinion, have done what Cam Hardy has done. I mean, Cam Hardy made Hamilton County history. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, somebody's telling me he didn't seek the endorsement. Oh, okay, I get it. So if he didn't seek the endorsement, then it's moot. Okay, great. It's over with then. Okay. Michelle Dillingham. I'd have to sit and look at the entire slate and then really compare it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is Philip O'Neill black? 6 black people. Okay. Nina Rice, isn't Scotty Johnson one of the people that got Blackwell fired? He was definitely involved with that. He was definitely involved with it. He actually drove Blackwell to city council, and it's not a good look. And I remember talking with Scotty, and I don't remember what he told me. I remember talking with Scotty. We talked on the air and away from the microphone. He was explaining his rationale. At the time, it made sense. It didn't really still feel good. But you're right. He was involved with that. And you're right. People are going to bring it up. Joe writes, yes, Philip O is a black. Okay. So that's 6 black people. I like that. But I need to know more about them. So now that the endorsements have come out, then I'll do my due diligence. I'm going to reach out to everybody to have them come on the show. I'll start doing my due diligence, my own research as to what their slate is, and start reaching out to people. And what I would say is, Crystal writes, that won't factor into my vote. Sorry. Oh yeah, I mean, to each their own. So some people it will. I've talked to people who are like, I can't forgive Scotty for what he did with Blackwell. At the same time, that was a long time ago, and people have very short attention spans. Like this, like people's, I don't know which is shorter, Cincinnati voters' attention spans or the life cycle of the cicada. I'm not sure. Let me see. Lawrence writes, Cam was blackballed because Democrats didn't want to cross endorse with Charter. Charter committee was a better ticket. # good government. Yeah, I mean, I think Cam has enough name recognition to still get on city council. He's got way more name recognition than the most of the people who are not incumbents on that list. Way more, in my opinion. But we'll see. But I'm being told by someone who is a very credible source that Cam Hardy did not seek the endorsement. So that's the end of the conversation about that. Is that true, Cam? I mean, I think he's in the house here. Interesting. Very interesting. Crystal writes, I love Scotty Johnson. Everybody, if you're around Scotty, he's got that kind of personality where you like the guy. You know, some people are like that. You get around them, you just like them. I tell my wife is like that. She's the kind of person, if you're around her, you instantly like her. I got a brother named Kareem who's like that. And you could drop my little brother off in, you ever seen that movie called the Green, what's it called? Okay, thank you so much. It's not called The Green Mile. It's actually a horror movie. It's called The Green something. Hold on. It's called The Green something. Making a point here. It's called The Green Inferno. You ever seen that movie, The Green Inferno? Oh my God. Phew, man. See, I'm a horror genre movie buff. I like the genre, and I'll watch even bad horror movies. That is not a bad horror movie. If you're a horror movie fan and you haven't seen The Green Inferno, make that happen. You'll trust me if you can get through it. So my point is that you could drop my little brother with that tribe in The Green Inferno, and that mofo gonna walk out like a chieftain. He's a Leo. He's just got a very magnetic personality. He's always been like that, right? And Scotty's like that. You're around Scotty, you're gonna like him. He's got easy with the smile, good dude. I think Scotty J is a good dude, despite what happened. Kamar writes, Cam, did you see the endorsement? Is Cam in here still? He might be busy doing Cam Hardy type shit. It's called The Green Inferno. That's the movie I was looking for, not The Green Mile. The Green Mile is also a pretty decent movie, but The Green Inferno, if you're a horror fan and you haven't seen it, boy, I'm just telling you, get ready. I'd rather you drop me off with motherfucking with in the Saw series than The Green Inferno any day of the week. Any day of the week. Clarence writes, Scotty Johnson with cool as hell as my high school SRO officer, Taft High School, that is. And then I heard the testimony against the chief, and that changed my whole perspective. That's fair. I'm not trying to convince anybody to change their mind about Scotty J. I'm just telling you how I feel about the brother. You know, and if I felt otherwise, I would just say it. But that's how I honestly look at him. I was disappointed in the whole thing that went down. I didn't like hearing it. I thought it made him look bad. But I still like the man. You know, as a man, I still think he's a stand-up brother. But it is what it is. Tabitha writes, I think I heard on WLW the gun rage is going to be moved. Okay. Well, speaking of which, coming up next week, as a matter of fact, it's going to be on Wednesday. There's going to be a virtual event from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. that's being brought forward by the folks at the Black Environmental Leaders. It's called Black Landscapes Matter Town Hall, Cincinnati Gun Range. What's the impact? And you can watch it live on Facebook at Common Strat. That's Common Strategies, Common Strat. COMMENSTRAT. And again, I'm here to tell you about it every single day up until Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll share it as well so that, you know, you can check it out. And if you're interested, you can watch it. I love virtual events. It's just so easy to plug in. It's just so easy. They make it so easy for you. All right. Crystal writes, F that lottery and F the vaccine and F the lottery. Tell DeWine I said that. Black Russia writes, this is why Dems didn't offer Killer Cam an interview. Cam thought he deserved both endorsements for issue 7. I mean, he gave the Democrats a hell of a win. And that's just my opinion. Now, I don't have all the details. I'm sure there's people that got way more details than me. I'm just giving you my honest gut reaction as I'm hearing it in real time. Okay? But it is what it is. It is what it is. But congratulations to all the people. And that Democrat endorsement is worth what? 10,000 votes? That's worth a whole lot. That's worth a whole lot. And there are some names that I'm surprised. Again, I don't know who sought the endorsement and who didn't. It could be a lot of people who didn't seek the endorsement, and that's why they didn't get it. That would make sense. But hold on, let me jump around here. Let me jump on Twitter quick before we roll out of here. Got a couple minutes left to the top of the show. And let me go to Chris Rhetoric, because Chris Rhetoric is always on point with the news here locally. Okay, here it is. The recommended Democratic council slate is Jeff Cramerding, Jim Michelle Lemon Kearney, Reggie Harris, Mika Owens, Mark Jeffries, Scotty Johnson, Greg Landsman, Victoria Parks, Philip O'Neill. Two-time candidate Michelle Dillingham, who finished 10th in 2017, was passed over. Let me reach out on Facebook. Perhaps we can get Michelle Dillingham just to give us a quick reaction. I am surprised by that. I think favorably of Michelle Dillingham. That's just my personal viewpoint. I know other people are like, she had a dope problem, but I don't care. Hold on one second. I'm text messaging her now. Sorry about the dead air, but you know, it's a new day now, you know. All right, I just sent her a text message. Maybe we'll get a call. I don't know. We'll see. I'll take the call if it comes in and we can get a reaction to it. I don't know. Did she seek the endorsement of the Democrats? I don't know. Maybe she did. Crystal writes, that's not cool about Michelle Dillingham. Why wasn't she considered? I actually voted for her. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, she's a veteran in terms of running. She came very, very close. If it wasn't for those damn supersized Jeff Pastor in his military, all dressed up, all looking all military-ish, driving the women crazy, then she probably would have got on city council. And now she runs again, and she's been very vocal. She's been very vocal about tax abatements. She's been very vocal about FC Cincinnati. She's been very vocal about the TIF districts. She's been out there fighting a good fight, very vocal about, developments with very little equity. And she didn't get the endorsement. I don't know. So maybe, did she interview badly? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we'll find it this morning. I'm here for it. I mean, the show ends at 10, but I'll stay later for a conversation with her. I don't know. Susan writes, isn't Cam a charter right? It appears so. Hold Hold on, I'm getting a text. She just texted, tell the voters, vote Dillingham. So I guess that's what she wants to say. I get it. But my job is to ask the question. I'm not, people say no, and I don't feel nothing about it whatsoever. My job is to ask the question, to make the invitation. Let me see here. Catching up with your chat here. David writes, Nate, where'd you find that list? Well, somebody tweeted it. It was Brother Terrence Graxton, but I'm on Chris Rhetoric's Twitter page right now, and he's got it here. He just posted 17 minutes ago. And how many people did they endorse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's interesting because they vote. Wait. How does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I wrote that wrong. Maybe I counted that wrong. That's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I counted Jan Michelle Lemon twice because her name was so long. Is that right? You might have. So it looks like 9. Looks like 9. Chris Rhetoric writes, the situation reminds me of the 2 recent elections. In 2017, former 2-time councilwoman Lori Quinvillin was snubbed by the party in her comeback attempt. I do remember that. So I don't know why. I'm sure that Michelle Dillingham knows why, but she don't want to talk about it right now. So I don't know. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Jeff Cramerding, don't know who that is. Reggie Harris, we spoke with him. I do know who that is. Mika Owens, haven't spoke with her. I do know who that is. Mark Jeffries, I don't know who that is. Scotty Johnson, of course, I know who that is. Victoria Parks, I know who that is. Philip O'Neill, I know the name, don't know the man. So that's going to be who the Democrats, and again, that's worth what? 8 to 10,000, maybe 12,000 votes? Because that means that when you walk into on election day, you're going to have Democrats standing outside, poll workers, right? They're going to have the little card with the Democrat slate. They're going to give it to people. And a lot of people, without doing a whole lot of thinking, are just going to go Democrat, Democrat, Democrat down the line. So we shall see. All right. Glenn writes, she can still run unendorsed. She can. And she will. Cam writes, the Democrats wouldn't interview me because they wanted me to denounce the charter rights first. So it wasn't that he didn't seek it. It's because the Democrats wouldn't interview him. The Democrats said they didn't want to do, the only people that they were going to endorse were people that were seeking just their endorsement. No cross endorsements where you got an endorsement from the charter rights or maybe the Republican Party and also get the Democrat endorsement as well. And I guess I don't really understand that move. Maybe kind of, sort of. Maybe we'll tackle that one day in the near future, but I think Cam still has the name recognition and the local cachet to get on city council even without the Democrat nomination. That's what I think as I sit here right now. Because black people, white people, a lot of people in Hamilton County know him and support him, and they've seen what he can do. We haven't seen what these other people can do. We have no idea, but we know what Cam can do. Again, I'm not giving endorsements because I don't give endorsements, but I'm just telling you my honest thoughts this morning. Angela writes, so I guess short voting strategy this year could be. Somebody writes, the slate is majority black, which I like that, as long as they qualify conscious black people. I don't want just black. We don't need no damn Tim Scotts. We don't need that. We don't need that. Angela writes, Gwen McFarland is incredibly underwhelming as party chair. Really? Let me see here. Crystal writes, so you have to seek an endorsement? That's silly to me. If you like them, put a ring on it. Yeah, I think that's the way it works. They have to actively seek out the endorsement, and there's a whole process, an interview process, which I have a little understanding with. I'm not telling you I know everything. There's people that got way more information about that than I do. And that's the process. And, it is what it is. Kathy writes, thank you for sharing the info about the gun range. Oh, absolutely. I'll share one more time before we roll out of here. There is a virtual town hall on Wednesday, June 3rd from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's being put on by the Black environmental leaders along with Common Strategies. Matter of fact, you can watch it on their Facebook page, Common Strat on Facebook. And they'll be talking with Bishop Bobby Hilton, who is the chief of staff for Hamilton County Commissioner Stephanie Dumas, Renee Mahaffey Harris, Samaya Bray, Carlton Collins, Deronce Daniels. And the two last names, those brothers are part of the Heights movement. And they're very, very serious about, changing the narrative and the environment up in Lincoln Heights. And I support that 100%. That's a very righteous endeavor. And they'll be talking about the Cincinnati gun range. What's the impact? All right. So with that, family, I'm going to make a move. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Remember, 3 humans that are worse than COVID. And it's way more. I'll be back to tell you more. We might do this once a month. Humans worse than COVID or worse than once a week. Once a week, maybe. It depends on how the world works. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Remember our motto. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivy. Until next time, I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all must spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, robo, wait.